Hello everyone. In this course, we are going to talk about the AWS overview, and then we'll look into how we can create a compute system in AWS. So when we talk about the AWS platform, we have different services available on this. The first part of any cloud system is the virtual machines which are available on this. With respect to Amazon, they are called the EC2 instances. So today we are going to see how we can create a EC2 instance. So once you log in into the console, go into EC2 and then look for this service EC2. So here, if you click on launch instance, so for any virtual server that we are going to create or the virtual machine that we are going to create, we need to provide a name to it. So here I'm going to name this as my app server AWS. Okay. And then the next thing we are going to select is the application and the OS images. In Amazon, it is called AMI, which is Amazon Machine Image. So here we are going to select the Amazon Linux. You have other options as well like Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat. So whatever you want, you will be able to make use of them. So here you have selected the machine image. The next part is the instance type. So what is an instance? So instance is the physical equivalent of a hard disk and the CPU associated with that. So here the T2.micro is the instance. So we are going to select T2.micro, which is of one virtual CPU and 1 gigabit memory. And this has to be um, selected based on whatever the payment that you are eligible for. So currently we have selected the free tier eligible. So other things you also see the billing part of it. The next part is the keypad. So if you want to create a virtual machine in the AWS, the minimum thing that you need is to connect it from the outside world. So if you are planning to connect it from the outside world, then you need to create a keypad. So you need to click on create keypad. We need to provide a name here. Again, my app server key, and then we can select either one of these options for the encryption part. So it is heavily protected, and basically we are going to create an encrypted password here. So we are going to select the RSA type, which is a known encryption policy. And in this, if you want to connect to the system using a terminal application like putty, then we can use the .ppk option. So we are going with the .ppk option, and then you can click on create keypad. So once you create keypad, automatically that key is downloaded to your machine. We'll see how to make use of in the upcoming sessions. So the next part is the network part. For creating an EC2 instance, currently we are not going to make any changes with this network, but it is called the virtual private cloud. By default, it will be created for you when you are creating the EC2 instance. And here is the firewall rules that we are going to apply. In this case, we are just going to enable SSH and HTTPS and HTTP traffic for us, so that we'll see how to convert this server into a web server in the coming sessions. Okay. The next part is anything that we need to run on a CPU, it needs some storage. So on a traditional PC, we have the storage, which is the hard disk, which is connected to the machine directly. Here, that is given as a separate service. We call this as EBS volume. So currently, you are allowed for 30 GB of EBS volume on Amazon. So if you want to configure extra, you may have to pay more, but currently we are selecting a 8 GB volume here. Okay. So now you click on the launch instances. Before that, you can also do a summary of whatever you have done. The software image that you have selected, the instance type and the storage volume. So these are the minimum things that you have to select. So click on launch instance. So your instance is getting created now. So this is the console on which we are seeing all the information related to your instances. So ideally you will see a ID which is created for you. This is a unique ID. If you click on this, it will be taking you to another page where you will be able to see all the instance details here. Okay. So you have to click on the instances. So here you will find the different information related to the instance. First is the name that we are given, and then instance ID, and what is the current state of the machine, and there is a status check. So this status check has to be become like 2/2 or 3/3 checks pass. So that is the state on which we need a confirmation, or we basically can confirm that the system is available and we'll be able to log into the system. Apart from this, there are a couple of information that we need to understand. So currently I am logged into AWS and there are different regions which are created on this. Okay. And under each region, for example, United States is a region. Under that we have North Virginia, which is an availability zone. So under the US East 1, we have US East 1A, 1B, 1C. Similarly, we have US East 2, 2A, 2B, 2C. So those are the availability zones that we have. So any resource that you are creating, you will be seeing the availability zone information. So currently our server, which is the VM, is created on the availability zone of US East 1B. Okay. Apart from this, there are other information which are related to this machine. One is the public IPv4 address. So to access your machine from outside of AWS, you have to use the public IPv4 address, and anything internally will be happening through this private IP address. Okay. So currently we have started an instance, and this instance is getting built now. So just refresh this so that the initialization part is updated. So we can connect to this machine by different ways. Okay. So how to connect? Basically, you select this option and click on connect here. So we have different options here. One of the main option is the EC2 instance connect, meaning you will be able to connect to this server using the IP address which is provided. So here the username by default is the EC2-user. So that is the one that we are going to make use of. Okay. So before that, we need to make sure the instance is up and it is properly working fine. So we'll refresh one more time here. Okay, for some reason it's still seeing the status check. Okay, so meanwhile we'll look into the other properties. So one of the main thing that we have enabled is the security. So click on security and then scroll down a little. You will see a security group. So click on the security group. So currently we have allowed three kind of connections to this server from the outside world. One is the SSH, through which we will be able to do a putty connection to it. The other one is the HTTPS service, which is for hosting web pages. And the other one is the HTTP protocol, which is again for hosting a web page. So without these rules, you will not be able to host a web page on your EC2 instance. Okay. Okay, so now we are able to see it is 2/2 checks passed. Okay. So this is the stage in which you can connect to the system. So click on connect, scroll down and click on connect here. You will be given a new console on which you will be able to log in and connect to the system. Okay, so here you can check for a date. So this is the current date on the server. And if you check for uptime, it will be showing how long the system is up. You can see it is only up for last 4 minutes. And again, this system is all your system. Basically, you have full rights. You will be able to install anything, delete anything, whatever you want to do, you will be able to do on the system. So this system is currently available for you. So now we have the EC2 instance running. So we'll see how we can connect to this system. So you click on the connect and you can scroll down, click on connect here. So you will see a new management console being opened. So this is basically the new virtual machine that you have created on your AWS environment. So you will be able to make use of it for your own purposes. So currently, if you see you have logged in, you can check the path of your login, which is PWD, which is going to show the current user path, which is home EC2 user, and you have the full rights to create any files here. For example, we have make directory. Okay, so AWS test, and then you'll be able to list the files here. Yeah, we have the AWS test. You can move into AWS test, and here you can create file using touch command. If you want to create a test file, so you will be able to create those files here. So apart from this, in this session, we are going to see how this system can be converted into a web server. Okay. So to install any package, we need to use some package managers. So for Amazon Linux, we have the yum install package, which is available. So you can type in sudo yum install httpd -y. So this is basically the command that you are going to install the httpd package. So hit enter. So here AWS is going to allow you to install the packages since you are the root permitted user on this system now. It's not that everyone can install, but since you are the root permission user, you are able to install it. Then the next step is sudo yum. The next step is sudo systemctl. Okay, start httpd process. So whatever you have installed, you are going to start it. Now the next command is sudo systemctl enable httpd. So now the httpd process is enabled. You can also verify using sudo systemctl status httpd, and you are able to see that the Apache server that we have installed is active and it is running. So by default, this server is going to look into a file to render as a home page. So the location of this file is going to be cd var www html. So this is the location on which it will be looking for a file. So currently, if you check here, we are not able to see any files. So we need to create the index.html file here so that it will be able to render that page. So to make changes in that particular folder, you need to be a root user. So you can become a root user by typing in by sudo -i. Then we will be navigating to that path where www html. So this is the path from where the file has to be rendered. In this case, we will be creating that file, which is the index.html file. So we can create an index.html by redirecting the commands. So welcome to cloud hosting, which is redirected to the index.html file. Okay, so now we can see that this file is available on this path index.html and the path is var www.html. So now what you need to do is you need to copy the IP address of this, go to the browser, type in http colon slash and paste that. So you will be able to see welcome to cloud hosting. So that is how you can convert a EC2 instance into a web browser, and you will be able to place all the HTML related files in this place, and you can have a full-fledged website also on this.